Hello everyone, Darkizer here again with the next episode in my large-scale construction series. I'm still working on the Terran battlecruiser, and I thank you all very much for coming back. As you can see, I have had to make some serious changes in my apparatus. I have found that I can go through steel plate and iron ore at an alarming rate. So let me show you what we have going on here. As you can see, I have filled in the entire bottom layer of the ship with heavy armor grit. And yes, I did all this by hand, and no, I haven't really slept much. As I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is not for the faint-hearted. I could just as easily, or actually much more easily, build this in creative mode, but I've never been one for doing anything small. This is the small mining ship that I had used, and I am currently still using this ship whenever I find a small amount of ore and or a relatively small vein, and there's no point in bringing in the big ship. As you can see, I had to seriously upgrade my ship. I managed to cut most of it down. I managed to preserve some of it, but I got rid of all of the fancy stuff that I had going on. I was attempting to do ore capture or rock capture for a lot of the flyaway material, and so on and so forth. And I eventually wound up scrapping that idea. The cockpit is over here. I did put a layer of glass in. This is the area through which I can actually see what I'm doing, and I put that in there primarily because when I was mining day before yesterday, I had a rock that got kicked out from the drill, came right back in through this opening that I used to see what I'm doing, and went through the cockpit and killed me. So, yeah, I was a little bit upset at that. So, but the ship itself is very simple. I have put stone crushers and arc reactors and so forth inside in order to sort of pre-treat a lot of the stone so that I can process the stone, and then a lot of the other ore comes over here and we run it through this much more sophisticated, much larger process. As you can see, I've also had to expand my solar panels to power all of this extra gear, and then I completely tore this all down. So this is where I'm at for stage 3 of the process, and as you can see, we have I had to do some exploring. I needed some gold. I found ice and stone over there. That tells me I don't really bother marking for iron unless iron is literally all that is at a site, because almost all of the asteroids these days actually have iron. So if I mark something, it is because it has iron, stone, and whatever the other item is. In this case, gold, and there's another one over here for cobalt, and so on and so forth. I have one for magnesium, which I found by accident. I'm not really using magnesium right now, but I will eventually need piles of magnesium in order to make all of the ammunition. I've also, I believe missiles now need a small amount of uranium, so I cannot even begin to tell you how much uranium I'm going to go through. And as I had stated in the last episode, I put on some solar panels, and then I began experimenting with door mods and other things to find what I liked and what I thought was going to work best, and so on and so forth. It's not enough to really power anything, but it is enough for setting lights and doors and so on and so forth. The plumbing is still the same as it was before. I've just managed to lay down the initial deck. And one of the things about a project like this, even if you're doing this in creative, there are going to be things that you are going to need to set up. Now, of course, in creative, you don't have to worry about actually mining or refining anything, but there are going to be areas of the ship where you're just not sure what's going on, so you're going to have to put it down and tear it out, put it down and tear it out, and so on and so forth, which is one of the reasons why I prefer doing things this way. Once I get to the point where I have all of this welded up and I have all of this in place, then I'm going to be putting another layer on top of this. And so this will be the heavy armor sandwich that will hold most of the plumbing safe, and then everything else will be built up around that. So it's a short episode since a lot of what I was doing was behind the scenes, but I did want to show you that I did finally manage to get all of the grid work in place, and that's definitely going to be that's a big hurdle for me, was getting all of that grid laid out, because now that I know how long it takes and roughly how much effort that's going to take, then now that gives me a better idea of how much the rest of the project is going to take. Thank you very much for joining me. I will provide a link at the end of the episode to take you to the next episode in line. As always, likes are appreciated and subscriptions doubly so. This is Dark Geyser signing off. Have a good day.